The nighttime conditions at Talladega Superspeedway play host to our 9th race of the season here in our 2nd season of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series. We're getting ready to go nighttime racing at the High Bank Superspeedway, our 2nd restrictor plate stop of the season. It will be 29 laps of racing, and fuel could be an issue in this event. And normally when we see fuel strategy play out a big factor in a Talladega race, that's when we are used to seeing Talladega seem to live up to its reputation of catering to the underdog. We'll see if that's going to be the case here today. We have been able to check another historical landmark off of our list as far as the Hersheys Cup Series is concerned. For the first time ever, we have an all-rookie front row. We've had rookies qualify for the pole, we've had rookies qualify for the outside of the front row, but never both at the same time. O'Neal Baldwin picks up his first career pole, starting on the inside of row 1 alongside of Keith Batson. This is Batson's best career start in 2nd place. The only thing we have left to do is have a rookie race winner, and here at Talladega, don't count that out of maybe taking place by the time the checkered flag waves here this evening. We're going to be getting ready for today's race. We've got a number of top stories to actually cover, especially one concerning last week's winner, Joshua Circuli. And for some reason, I cannot see how much time I have until the command to fire the engine comes out, so it's probably going to surprise me because I got a little balloon that's popped up here. So I apologize for that fact. It just went away. There we go. Now I can see. So in just a mere moment, we'll give you your points and that top story, but let's get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Trying to sound professional, a stupid notification balloon pops up right in front of the time clock. Anyway, the command to fire the engines has been given, and here is the top 10 in the point standings. Keith Batson's not gotten going. Trouble for the outside pole sitter in the 73. That's going to hold up everybody from that outside line, so that's a tough break there for Keith Batson. Not able to get the car fired. We'll try and get an update on what's happened to him. But the top 10 in points coming into this race, Brandon Gonzalez is the points leader after a great run last week at Martinsville. Kyle Matthews, our Daytona 500 winner, last time we were at a restricted plate track, is 2nd. Cody Lamas 3rd. Carson Scott 4th. Zachary Fitzwater is 5th. Grayson Acavito had a tough race last week at Martinsville. He's dropped to 6th in points. JT Bryant is 7th. 8th is Dallas McIntosh. 9th is Levi McIntyre. And completing the top 10 in the point standings, last week's runner-up at Martinsville, Leon Alvarez. You notice over on the right side of your screen the drivers that are locked into the chase at this particular point in time. If the chase were to begin now, Benjamin Miles, the only other driver that is outside the top 10 in the point stands that right now would be eligible for getting into the chase for the championship, as he's 17th in points. The other ones in the top 10 in points, Gonzalez, Matthews, Carson Scott, Zachary Fitzwater, and Levi McIntyre. 2 drivers that are former race winners this season but are not inside the top 30 in the point standings, so they are not listed on the list right now. Charles Sanford last week dropped from 30th to 33rd in points, so he's got to get himself back up into the top 30 in points for his Atlanta win to count towards a chase spot. And last week's winner, Joshua Circuli, of course, he was a go-or-go-home non-chartered car for a majority of this season, but that win last week moved him up to 39th in the point stand. So he still has a little ways to go, but if he can get himself up into the top 30 in the points, then he's going to be in good shape. He's in this race. William Brock, his team owner, rolling off this race now from the 4th position after the hardship there by Keith Batson, decided to move his charter over to Joshua Circuli, qualified in on time. Circuli's in this race via charter, so we'll see what Circuli can do given the opportunity here tonight. Also, another top story about Circuli, but we'll get to that in just a moment because we're getting ready to go racing. O'Neal Baldwin and now Emmanuel Hartnett are your front row, and the green flag is out. We're underway at Talladega. So the entire front row moves up, or the entire outside row, I should say, moves up due to the hardship there of the 73 of rookie Keith Batson. I don't know if he's still on pit road or not. Indeed he is. He probably is going to fall off the lead lap. That's a tough break for him. That team came in with such high hopes. Best career starting position of 2nd Two of their drivers making this race, Batson as well as the 35 of Cat Tellier. As they're fanning out 3 wide behind him, but O'Neal Baldwin's going to keep all of it in his rearview mirror. He'll come down and he will cross the line and complete the first lap of the evening. So, let's continue on the story about Joshua Circuli in the 47. As I said, William Brock moving his charter over to Circuli for this race, so Circuli makes the Talladega event. But he will also make the future events as well. The car you see right there on the inside line, that Castor Oil GTX Chevrolet of Johnny Gardner, struggling in the point standings, and so they have allowed William Brock Motorsports to purchase their charter. So Johnny Gardner will be trying to race his way into future events on speed. Joshua Circuli, with the purchase of that charter, he will be locked into the upcoming events as Michael Norman, new NXT colors on his Chevrolet. He will lead the second lap of the event. Michael Norman loves this kind of racetrack. He loves restrictor plate tracks. He's got his good buddy Levi McIntyre there behind him. McIntyre's already been to victory lane this season at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ryan Madden trying to make a move, and McIntyre moves down and blocks him. Baldwin now slipping back to 4th place, and here comes Trent Dunham. Trent Dunham, we know his disdain for Daytona International Speedway, but he likes Talladega. Qualified for this race in the 3rd position. It's the best starting spot Trent Dunham has had all season. He's got his teammate Sean Galligan behind him. Right now we've got 3 of the Sega Motorsports cars currently running up inside the top 10. The 8 of Madden, the 1 of Dunham, and the 48 of Sean Galligan. Not too far behind there. You can see as well the Target Chevrolet. There he is, alongside Daniel Voiles. That's Kyle Keith. All 4 rather, of the Sega Motorsports cars made this race. And here comes Ryan Madden to the inside of Levi McIntyre, but now here comes O'Neal Baldwin. Going to go 3 wide for the lead. Can't make the move on the 8 car. And Ryan Madden will go to the top position. Madden drove full-time last season in the 88 car, but he's still looking for his first win of his career in the Hersheys Cup Series. So far, we've run 9 different qualifying sessions, had 9 different pole sitters. Of the 8 races we've completed, we've had 8 different race winners. So it's getting close to crunch time. Half of our chase spots are filled up already. There are only 8 spots remaining for race winners this season. And including this race, we've still got 18 more regular season races to run. So it could come down to a driver having a win this season that is not going to make the chase for the championship if this streak continues on of having a different driver go to victory lane week after week. Boy, he fought his way to the front up to 2nd place last week at Martinsville. He's doing the same thing here tonight at Talladega. Leon Alvarez just moving into the top 10 in the point standings last week. And he right now is up to the 11th position. He just ran his fastest lap of the race too. Running right now behind the defending champion, Anthony McCrory. Leon Alvarez, let's not forget, he's a former winner in this series. He ended up taking a checkered flag last year at Freeway, which doesn't really qualify as a restrictor plate track, I don't think. It was a huge draft-reliant racetrack, though. And trying to win here this season. Last season it was for CJ Racing. This season driving for Bulldog Motorsports. O'Neal Baldwin, the Amp Energy Chevrolet. Kind of makes you think of Dale Jr. And right now he's like the Dale Jr. of Talladega here in the Hersheys Cup Series. He's been able to keep everybody in his rearview mirror. If he falls back, he works his way back up to the front. He's like the Pied Piper here tonight, it seems. Whoa, Michael Norman trying to tuck down there into the 5th position in front of Sean Galligan, but Galligan was to his left rear. And we are going to have probably green flag pit stops at some point because we've run this long and we haven't had a caution flag. And I've noticed there's actually a group back here behind Kyle Keith, William Brock, and Charles Samper. Second group here led by Stephanie Gardner, but behind this group, there's another group right here. Joseph Srigley and JT Bryant, John Arndt, and Cody Lamas all running here at the back. Benjamin Miles there along with Cole Baker too. You got to wonder if they're expecting the big one to happen or something. But they don't want to lose the draft. James Qualls right now running all by his lonesome. I think he may have lost the draft. He's in 41st. And Keith Batson I don't think has even, he didn't even start the race. It was a header problem for the 73. The only thing I can think of is maybe he missed a shift when he was trying to start the car up, leaving pit road, and that's a tough break there for Keith Batson, not even getting to complete a lap. This looks familiar. I think before it was Norman being pushed by McIntyre, now it's McIntyre being pushed by Norman, so apparently these two are willing to work together here tonight. And take a look at the driver slicing and dicing back there, that light blue Kings Island Chevrolet of our Daytona 500 winner, Kyle Matthews. First restrictor plate stop of the season in the Great American Race. Matthews took the checkered flag. He'd love to be able to go 2 for 2 in SS races here. Right now he has worked his way up. Last time scored in the 12th position. Charles Sanford, Joshua Circuli, we've documented how both of them are outside the top 30 in points, and they need a good run to get themselves into the top 30 in points. Right now, Charles Sanford sits in the 17th position. Joshua Circuli was running 18th. He just got bypassed on the high side by Zachary Fitzwater, and now he's starting to get freight trained. But both of them currently up at least towards the top 20 as Tim Walsh has hit pit road. Does that mean we've got some green flag pit stops beginning? The first car to hit pit road here was the 5 car. And I can't tell if this is a regularly scheduled stop or if something might be amiss on that Kellogg Chevrolet. I don't know. That looks like a little bit too long of a pit stop. So maybe we don't have green flag pit stop starting yet. I think these drivers are going to be able to make it on just one stop. It just depends on when they pit. They can make it roughly between 18 to 20 laps on one tank of fuel, I think. And you see nobody from the lead pack here coming to pit road, so that indicates to me that there's some kind of a mechanical problem on the 5 car of Tim Walsh. That time, Leon Alvarez just barely leading the lap over Ryan Madden. That 9 car, I'm telling you what, you get times in the seasons when a driver is hot and they just can't seem to do anything wrong. That seems to be Leon Alvarez right now. Noticed another driver that's worked his way up here, and that's that Wrangler Chevrolet of Chris Dodd. Watch out for him. A lot of drivers have just kept themselves up here in this lead pack, like Levi McIntyre, Sean Galligan, Ryan Madden, O'Neill Baldwin, Michael Norman. And I thought so. I was wondering, it looked like Baldwin looked like he was indicating he was coming to pit road, so it looks like the pole sitter is going to be the start of the green flag pit stops here tonight, as Tim Walsh still sits on pit road, so apparently it was not a regularly scheduled stop for that 5 team. But Baldwin's the only one coming to pit road. Now, when you make a pit stop at a restrictor plate track, you want to come down with some partners. Benjamin Miles pitting as well. So that way when you come back out of pit road, you're going to have somebody to be able to draft with. The pole sitter apparently decided to come down a less congested pit road. Top 4 have broken away, but they're probably all spacing out so that way they'll be safer getting onto pit lane. And here comes a whole train of them. Alvarez will pit along with Norman, Madden, McIntyre, Dodd. Whoa, we had a little trouble back there. William Brock having some difficulty getting to pit road. Looks like he was able to get the car righted and keep going. I don't know if that was enough for a caution. No, it wasn't. So William Brock, nice save there. I don't think he even got any damage. I don't know who it was that maybe got into him. There's some dirt kicked up there. Apparently someone got run off the pit road, kicking up some dust. As Baldwin comes back onto the racetrack, Sean Galligan now inherits the lead. Brandon Gonzalez, the points leader, in second. Then it's Matthews, Hartnett, and Sanford. I believe they, along with Jessica Shelton, are the last cars to pit. And here comes Galligan and company. Gonzalez, Matthews, Hartnett, Sanford, and I believe Shelton is the last car that will have to hit pit road. All 3 of the Retro Racing Enterprises cars coming in on this lap. And here comes Shelton. So now's the question of who the lead's going to cycle around to. And you see O'Neal Baldwin was way back there. He's going to cycle around somewhere around 5th place, I think. I would think maybe it might be this car. Michael Norman might come out in front after the cycle of green flag pit stops. The car we're going to have to watch for is the Lowe's Chevrolet of Sean Galligan, the Kings Island Chevrolet of Kyle Matthews, and the Vanguard Mitsubishi Lancer of Brandon Gonzalez. Those are going to be the 3 that might challenge Norman for the lead, leaving pit road. And he's about to catch a couple of them right here. I believe that was just up ahead, Kyle Matthews. He's going to get by Matthews. Sanford bypassed Matthews on pit road. And Norman will not beat out Emmanuel Hartnett, Brandon Gonzalez, nor Sean Galligan. Galligan will cycle around as the leader after these green flag pit stops. We are now halfway through this race, and these drivers should be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel now. Shouldn't have to pit again. They were right within their window of being able to make it on one stop. They made it, and now we're just going to have ourselves some good old racing here to the finish. So after the cycle of green flag pit stops, let's give you as good a full field rundown as we can. Sean Galligan is the leader, Brandon Gonzalez in 2nd. Emmanuel Hartnett 3rd, Michael Norman cycles around in 4th, 5th is the pole sitter O'Neal Baldwin. 6th place is Levi McIntyre, Zach Flickinger is up to 7th, Charles Sanford at 8th, 9th place is Chris Dodd, and then in 10th place is Kyle Matthews. 11th place, Ryan Madden, Anthony McCurry in 12th, 13th place Johnny Gardner, 14th Zachary Fitzwater, 15th is Joshua Michaels, 16th James Richardson. Leon Alvarez now back to 17th, 18th Carson Scott, 19th is Trent Dunham, and completing the top 20 will be Dylan Pote. 21st is Aaron Henderson, 22nd will be Kat Tellier, 23rd Daniel Voiles, 24th Stephanie Gardner, 25th place Kyle Keith, 26th is Dallas McIntosh, 27th I believe will be William Brock. Yes, it will. 28th Dylan Young, 29th is John Cittadino, 30th is Grayson Acabito, 31st JT Bryant, 32nd Joshua Circuli, 33rd is Cody Lamas, 34th Jessica Shelton, 35th Benjamin Miles, 36th Joseph Srigley, 37th is Jake Baskinger, 38th Cole Baker, and then we've got John Arndt and Tim Walsh both sitting on pit road. Arndt right now scored in 39th. Tim Walsh scored, I believe, 41st. Not certain where James Qualls is at. Okay, Qualls is actually 39th. Last car on the lead lap. John Arndt is a lap down now in 40th as he sits on pit road. Tim Walsh has been sitting on pit road for the last few laps. He's 8 laps down in 41st. And the only car out of the race so far is Keith Batson, who wasn't even able to take the green flag. I don't know if maybe John Arndt was the one that got into William Brock coming to pit road. And maybe they're trying to repair that car. I don't know. We're about to have only 38 cars on the lead lap because the leader, Brandon Gonzalez, is about to reel in the last car on the lead lap, 39th place, James Qualls. There you see the 70 car. Brandon Gonzalez, former winner this season at Texas Motor Speedway. Ironically enough, the driver he ended up beating off pit road and ended up winning that race against is in this lead pack, Michael Norman. I don't think you'll be seeing the 3 and the 23 drafting with each other in this race, as Brandon will make the move to the inside of James Qualls and put him a lap down. So as things have kind of settled out at the moment, and it looks like we'll be setting up for a classic Talladega finish, let's just quickly step aside. Let's take a look at a replay of that incident coming to pit road involving William Brock. Maybe it'll give us a little bit of an idea of why John Arndt rather is still sitting on pit road. Well, here it was coming to pit road, different drivers with different braking lanes, and William Brock just couldn't get the thing wound down, and he's going to actually get into the left side of Trent Dunham And this accounts for why Trent was running so far back. They probably had to repair that little bit of damage. Brock spins it around. It had actually held up Joshua Michaels, James Richardson, and others. But he was able to get the car refired and get it going. And here's the issue that happened with John Arndt in the 24 right here. This was after the cycle of green flag pit stops. He's running here behind Jessica Shelton to the inside of Cody Lamas, and then apparently realizes something is terribly wrong. He pulls his car to the inside line, and there you see the black smoke pouring from underneath that Exalta Chevrolet. So apparently an engine problem of some kind plaguing that driver. Tough break there for John Arndt. The leaders were just given the signal by the flagman. 8 laps to go in this race. Top 5 have broken away. Gonzalez, Balvin, Flickinger, McIntyre rather, and Sanford. Then you got Chris Dodd, Emmanuel Hartnett, Michael Norman, Sean Galligan, and then the lap car of James Qualls trying to catch back up. Before we came back here to live action, I also looked to see if I could find out what happened on the 5 car, if maybe his engine expired, but there was no black smoke when he brought his Kellogg Chevrolet to pit road, so it's still an unknown as far as that's concerned. He's still sitting on pit road, so whatever it is, they're still trying to fix it, but time is very quickly running out. Officially a piston problem for John Arndt. So 2 drivers officially out of this race, both due to mechanical problems. When we come to Talladega, we think of the dreaded big one. So far, we've run 22 and a half laps completely green flag. Not without incident, though. We had that pit road issue with William Brock and Trent Dunham. And then, of course, if you throw in the mechanical issues as well. Right now, right there in your screen, those 5 could be the ones to settle it out for this win. They've remained single file. It's allowed them to break away from 6th place by about a second and a half. It may come down to one of these 5 drivers. Now, out of these 5 drivers, 3 of them have already been to victory lane this season. Gonzalez winning at Texas, McIntyre at Las Vegas, Sanford at Atlanta. O'Neal Baldwin trying to become the first rookie winner this season. And Zach Flickinger had a victory last year at Lime Rock. He's looking for his 2nd career, but first of this season. They're about to catch up on some drivers on the tail end of the lead lap here in the closing stages. Cole Baker just ahead in the 18. And Baldwin's coming to pit road as McIntyre and Sanford. So apparently my calculations were wrong. I thought they were within their window to make it. Apparently not. This race is going to come down to a money stop in the closing stages with less than 5 to go. 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Baldwin, McIntyre, and Sanford just hit pit road. Brandon Gonzalez and Zach Flickinger staying out as they'll now try and put Cole Baker down a lap. Jake Baskinger just ahead in the 59. And this could get very interesting here in the closing stages. Brandon Gonzalez, if he's planning on pitting, he better get around Jake Baskinger quickly. That looks like he's going to come down here on the high side of both Baskinger and Cole Baker. Flickinger coming in as well. Emmanuel Hartnett hits the pit lane. Johnny Gardner and Kyle Matthews, they were scored 4th and 5th. They're coming in. How about Kyle Keith? He's on his way to pit road. And I believe those are the last of the cars that actually stayed out. Gas and go for Brandon Gonzalez and Zach Flickinger. Flickinger did not lose touch with the 23, though. And we're going to have to see where Levi McIntyre and O'Neal Baldwin and Charles Sanford come out in all of this. Brandon Gonzalez is going to have to race off pit road side by side with Jake Baskinger, who's trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. Which lane's going to give room? Looks like Gonzalez will get around on the high side. We're going to be looking for those 3 cars, the 04, the 99, and the 03, coming here out of turn 2. Where are they? I don't see them yet. Still looking. Now they're coming out of turn 2. Boy, they're going to have to really work if they're going to catch up here to that 23 of Brandon Gonzalez. Gonzalez, next time by, it will be 3 laps to go, and I don't know if this group back here's got enough time to be able to reel him in. Sanford, 3rd. Bolvin, 4th. McIntyre, 5th. They're about to catch Zach Flickinger, but then they've got to catch Jake Baskinger, and then they got to catch Brandon Gonzalez. 3 to go here at Dega. The laps ticking away are Brandon Gonzalez's best friend right now. And now Sanford's caught to the back bumper of Flickinger. If these 4 can get themselves single file, lay down fast enough lap times, they might be able to catch Brandon Gonzalez, but they've got to hurry. They're only going to have about 2.5 laps to work with. Can they lay down fast enough lap times to reel Gonzalez in? It looks like they might be slowly closing the gap, but I don't know if they're going to have enough time. That's the big question. Sanford using the now lap car of Jake Baskinger to try and reel in Brandon Gonzalez. Gonzalez is all by himself. That's the only thing that these other guys have working for them. 2 laps to go. Let's see what the lap differential is, what the gap is. 1.8. Brandon Gonzalez ran a 49.4. Sanford ran a 48.4. So they had a second difference in lap time. And I think they're going to catch him. I think this group is going to catch Brandon Gonzalez. Sanford leading this group. Bolvin in 2nd. Flickinger, or make that Bolvin in 4th, or 3rd. Flickinger in 4th, and Levi McIntyre there in 5th. They are going to catch Brandon Gonzalez before this race is over. 1.8 seconds was the difference last time by. You can see the gap has visibly closed. Brandon Gonzalez hoping, praying this lap goes by quickly. White flag displayed one more time around. This time, the difference cut down by a full second. 0.8 between Brandon Gonzalez and Charles Sanford, and Sanford is rapidly closing the gap. Here comes the 03 car. William Brock on the tail end of the lead lap, just ahead. Sanford in the slipstream of the 23 coming down the back straightaway. They're going to be nose to tail, the top 4, when they come here out of turn number 4. Sanford closing up the gap. He is there. Will he be able to make a move out of turn 4? Here he comes to the bottom. Flickinger is there as well. He offers the drafting help. Side by side for the lead, coming to the stripe. Sanford, Gonzalez, Charles Sanford, gonna win here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. Becomes the first repeat winner of Season 2. And what did I say? Top of the program, Talladega seems to cater to the underdog or the driver struggling in points. Sanford was a big topic of conversation with the fact that he was outside the top 30 in the standings. He was 33rd in points. He needed a good finish to get back into the top 30 in points. He is now the only 2-time winner this season in Hersheys Cup. This will almost undoubtedly confirm him a spot in the chase for the championship if he can keep that car in the top 30 in points now from here on out. 3rd win of the season for Retro Racing Enterprises. 2nd win in their last 2 restrictor plate races. Kyle Matthews winning the 500. And Charles Sanford reels in Brandon Gonzalez in the closing stages and wins by 42 1/1000ths of a second. Brandon Gonzalez, the points leader, coming up just short of his 2nd win. He'll have to finish with the runner-up spot. Zach Flickinger gets 3rd. How about O'Neal Bolvin? Rookie of the race, started on the pole, kept himself up in the front all day long, or all night long, I should say, and will finish in 4th place. Levi McIntyre 5th. Chris Dodd finishes 6th. Galligan in 7th. Hartnett, Fitzwater, and Johnny Gardner. Last week that he'll run as a chartered ride. He'll get a top 10. Kyle Matthews gets 11th. Anthony McCurry in 12th. Michael Norman 13th. Richardson there in 14th, and Cat Taylor, Kyle Keith, great runs for those rookies in 15th and 16th. Trent Dunham, despite the incident coming to pit road, gets 17th. Aaron Henderson 18th. Poteet in 19th, and Joshua Michaels completes your top 20. As we look on down through the remainder of the field, We end up having 36 cars finish on the lead lap. I don't know what happened to Leon Alvarez, but the 9 car was up there before, and he'll finish the day out in 35th place. So tough break there. And also Joshua Circuli, another driver who's needs to get into the top 30 in points, 34th here tonight. So going to have to rely on next week to get up into the top 30 in the standings. I don't think tonight is going to cut it. Drivers that finished off the lead lap: Jake Baskinger, Cole Baker, and James Qualls. And then we had 2 drivers officially retire from the race: John Arndt and Keith Batson. Tim Walsh, he came to pit road very early, back I think it was on lap 7, just sat there on pit road, never officially retired, but he'll finish in the 41st position. Well, guess who the points leader is going to be heading into next week? No doubt, Brandon Gonzalez. Came into this race as the points leader, finishes second, so he may actually grow his points lead over Kyle Matthews and Cody Lamas. We will see what that gap will be after this race. Next week, we pack it up and we head to Kansas Speedway. That should be an interesting race, no doubt. And today, we have our first repeat winner in Charles Sanford this season. So the streak ends at 9. Charles Sanford ends 8 drivers in a row, all going to victory lane for the first time this season, as he picks up his second win of the year. So Charles Sanford more than likely is going to be the first driver officially locked into the chase for the championship, just as long as he can keep that car up in the top 30 in the point standings. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race from Talladega. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. Again, we'll show you full finish results on down through 42nd. Next week, we go knockout qualifying at Kansas and then get ready for our official points race at Kansas Motor Speedway. Hope you will tune in for that. Until then, I'm Seth Cole signing off. Here come your official rookie points and overall points heading into next week, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. Good night from Talladega.